Of all the punishments anytime acclimated at sea, few were as alarming as keel. It was a barbarous argosy beheading or abuse that addled abhorrence into the hearts of sailors during the age of sail. The adjustment was acclimated mainly by the Dutch, and sometimes by added European navies amid the 17th and 18th centuries. To be keeled meant to be drank below a ship's bark from one ancillary to the added through freezing, bagrimed barnacle-covered water. It was an aftereffect, apathetic, disturbing drowning. The chat K carriage comes from the Dutch appellation, kellen acceptation to booty, below the keel. The K is the axial courage of the address that runs forth its bottom. The abuse was advised, not aloof to conduct, but to alarm others into obedience. It was aloof for austere crimes, mutiny, desertion, or arresting an officer. The action usually began with the absolute aggregation accumulated on a cooter to attestant the event. Sailors were affected to watch, so they would never balloon what defying argosy conduct could advance to. The accursed man was bare to the waist, and his easily and anxiety were angry with abundant ropes. Sometimes, weights were absorbed to his legs, so that he would bore bound and not attempt at the surface. A continued braiding was afresh anesthetized below the bark of the address from one ancillary to the other, basic a loop. The sailor was angry to this loop, one end affiliated to his accoutrements and the added to his legs, so that he could be abject absolutely below the vessel. When the arresting was given, the aggregation on one ancillary of the address would boost on the rope, affairs the sailor off the accouter and into the sea. He would abandon below the baptize and be abject forth the aciculate barnacles and asperous board edges that band the base of the hull. These barnacles could allotment accessible beef, like razors, abrogation abysmal wounds beyond the body. If the sailor was lucky, or if the captain was activity merciful, he would be pulled up on the added ancillary quickly, bisected, drowned, and bleeding, but alive. In some cases, he ability be hauled below several times. If he didn't surface, it meant the sea had claimed him. Many victims either drowned or died after from infection due to their alarming injuries. Keel carriage was as abundant cerebral ache as physical. Alike, the force of it could breach a man's spirit. The algid water, the abridgment of air, the abrading of barnacles, and the agitation of actuality abject helplessly below a massive ship, accumulated into one of the best feared punishments of the era. By the 19th century, the convenants had abundantly disappeared. It was advised to cruel, alike by the acrid standards of argosy life. The Royal Navy adopted flogging or hanging, and European admiral gradually banned keelhauling altogether. Today, keelhauling survives alone, as a byword acclimated to beggarly, a astringent blame or punishment. But for the sailors who lived in abhorrence of it, it was no bald allegorical speech. It was a slow, agonizing, and acclaimed afterlife below the waves. Thanks for watching. To abutment our channel, amuse accomplish, abiding to subscribe. And already again, acknowledge you so abundant for watching.